Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I would like to talk about Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC and ever-changing gaming industry. So Microsoft is getting quite a lot of flack, a lot of criticism for their change in their gaming strategy, I guess. Focus on Game Pass, that's nothing really new, but going more multi-platform with their first-party games, that's where the problem lies for a lot of people. They think that that's a bad decision. Now, whether that's actually going to be a good or bad decision, we'll have to wait and see and how that pans out, really. But I want to talk about the whole industry and how it's changing and how it's different, to what it was like a decade or 2 decades ago. Because if you really look at the gaming industry, every single company changes, right? Even Nintendo, even though people say, oh, they are good old Nintendo. No, they're not. And every single company is adapting and changing and doing their own kind of thing, right? So let's start with PlayStation, I guess, because I think they are the ones that kind of change the least. So PlayStation, they released PlayStation back in 1995. It was a huge success. They followed up with a PlayStation 2, which was even bigger success. And ever since then, they never gained the same kind of momentum. I guess PlayStation 4 was a great generation as well. Now PlayStation 5 is kind of close to PlayStation 4 numbers, I think, as well. If you compare the same amount of time and sales numbers, but it's nowhere near the PlayStation 2 numbers, right? And this goes to show that the console market is kind of closed and it's not really growing. That's problem number one, and that affects every single company on the market, right? Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, maybe not that so much, and I'll talk about PC at the end. So PlayStation has to adapt too, because the amount of money they have to put into making a game rises. So games are getting more and more expensive. So they are not getting the same return on the investment because the market is not growing and the costs are growing, right? So they did raise the prices of games, but that didn't really do much for them, right? The margins are still low, and that's why they started releasing games for PC. So right now PlayStation is still in this phase that we are a console maker. We want to sell you a console. We want to sell you services and games on that console. And that's where they are at right now. But like I said, they are kind of shifting towards more PC gaming a little bit too, right? So that's a change as well. Let's talk about Nintendo now. Nintendo went through that, big change, number of years ago. As I think, with Nintendo Switch, 10 years ago, really, when they, unfortunately, had an issue with Wii U, right? So Nintendo, huge company, they've been selling new consoles for 3 decades now, I think. And, back in the days, they were both home console manufacturer and mobile, not mobile, but handheld console manufacturers. Back in the days, they would have Nintendo home console or SNES, and they would have Game Boy, right? Both would sell fantastic. Handheld would always sell better because it's just mobile and people like it. And for a decade or two, they've been, they had been selling us both home console and a handheld, and that worked well for them for a while. But then with Nintendo GameCube, I think that kind of changed, and for whatever reason, they couldn't really sell these consoles, right? Because first Nintendo was a great success. Then Super Nintendo was a great success too. Nintendo 64 actually sold pretty well too. It lost to PlayStation, but it still sold around 50 million units. So that's still a lot, I think. and or 60, something like that. But then Nintendo GameCube came out, and it was a great console. Actually pretty powerful and kind of fun and cool. It had great games, but it's sold poorly, around 20 million, I think, like something around this range. So that's not really a lot. People say Xbox is a flop right now because it sold only 60 million Xbox One consoles, but Nintendo GameCube sold 20, right? Then they followed up with Wii. That was a success, and then they tried something. They tried to kind of merge, I guess, the handheld and a home console because they had this like a pad with a LCD screen. That didn't really work well. Wii was a success. Wii U was a failure, even bigger than GameCube. And they had to do something. They had to actually adapt, shift their strategy. So what did they do? They merged properly. They've merged the home console and a handheld. So now you've got Nintendo Switch, which is very successful, and it's a hybrid of a home console because you can still connect it to your TV, and a handheld because you can take it on the go, right? So Nintendo went through that process of shifting, quite fast because they had to, because Nintendo Wii U was such a failure that they had to do something about it, right? So they came up with Switch. Now, let's look at Xbox and what they are going through. Their console is not really selling as they would like, and they are facing the same issues as PlayStation. So rising costs of game production and all that kind of stuff. And they want to sell games, and they are offering you Game Pass. They thought that Game Pass would sell the consoles, but looks like that doesn't really necessarily work like that. And a lot of people are just kind of, they got used to the boxes they've got at their homes. So PlayStation, for example. So right now you've got PlayStation being considered as a first choice for a home console. Then you've got Switch, a first choice for most consumers for a handheld. And Xbox, what's that? Like Xbox Game Pass box, really, right? So, and this is where the problem is that, like, Xbox had the issues with games, of course. So that, I think that was the main thing. But what Xbox is trying to do now is that they don't necessarily want to compete with PlayStation like full on, nor they want to compete with Nintendo full on. I think that Xbox, and they say that they want to be everywhere, and they mean everywhere. And that's why, they came up with that multi-platform strategy, and more and more games going to be coming to these these other platforms. But still, they've got hardware, and let's talk about hardware for a minute, because all these rumors that are suggesting that next Xbox is going to be a hybrid of something again. This just goes to show that they want to change. They are trying to adapt to like new market. And if you look at Microsoft and their strategy, they have always been a PC company, right? Windows, they were on Mac too, Office and that kind of stuff. Entertainment, they had a gaming division even before Xbox, but it was small. Now it grew with Xbox, and we are where we are right now. But still, they've got very PC roots, right? Very strong PC roots. And I think they are really trying to cater more to like PC gamers right now. They still want to keep the hardcore Xbox gamers happy. That's why you still see consoles being supported. And I get it. Like, people are crying about exclusives or lack of them, really. But I think that the importance of exclusives are slowly dying off, right? I mean, look at the games that are really selling. These are not exclusives. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Roblox, Minecraft. These type of games are being played all over the world by many people on different devices, right? So, I still think that it's, for a specific segment of game market, like exclusives are important, right? For like consoles per se. But generally speaking, even PlayStation, like I guess we could say that they don't have exclusives anymore because their games are on PC as well. And so as you can see, like it makes sense if PlayStation is taking advantage of PC, market already. It makes sense for Microsoft to actually embrace it even more. Not only have their games on PC per se, but make a console that is really a hybrid of a console and PC, and to cater to both console gamers that are Xbox fans like me and PC gamers. Because if you really think about it, look at what Steam is doing, right? Steam is selling other companies' games. They are making a ton of money on that, right? So fantastic. I mean, they don't really have any exclusives except like Counter-Strike and 2 games here and there, but generally speaking, they don't have exclusives, right? They don't make games anymore. They used to do, but not anymore. I guess Epic is a bit different. They are trying to lock down some games. For Steam is not like that, for the most part at least. And but on top of that, lack of exclusives doesn't really bother people. They are still buying games there because they just want to play games, right? And on their own systems. That's why they are not locking them to like a particular hardware. And that's why Xbox, I think their thinking is shifting towards more like PC approach, more like Steam-like. I'm not saying that they will be like Steam per se, but still, they are trying to sell you a number of things and you can play these games on a different device at different services and that kind of stuff, right? I bet money if Sony were to allow Xbox to put Game Pass on PlayStation, they would. I mean, but obviously that doesn't benefit PlayStation, so that will not happen. But if Sony, for whatever reason, agreed to that, Game Pass would be there, no problem. So, it is what it is, and that's why you see this hybrid of our approach when it comes to next-gen console. I mean, we don't see that yet, we just hear rumors about it, but, having Xbox games on that console and Steam games on that console and Epic games on that console, they are going the kind of Steam Deck route where Steam, like I said, they are selling other companies' games. And on top of that, they are making a ton of money on that. And on top of that, they are selling people a console, a handheld. And the thing is that they are not pushing that really that hard. They are not really marketing it. They are not spending money. They are not losing money on that console for sure. And yet still people are buying it. I've heard some numbers, like apparently around 20 million Steam Decks actually have been already sold. That's a lot, right? And so Microsoft is sitting there and they're thinking like, why do we have to, lose money on consoles and that kind of stuff? Can we just do the Steam thing? And they cannot just go full ahead Steam like kind of strategy because that would lose them. But I think they are going like step by step. They are going towards that. They just want to be everywhere, and they want to be a hybrid of everything. They want to have a store on console or on PC. They want to have a store on console. They want to have a mobile store. Apparently, they are opening up one very soon. They want to have consoles. They want to have a home console. They want to have a handheld. They want to be on PC, and they want to allow other applications on PC too. I mean, hell, I would not be surprised if one day we see a PlayStation store on Xbox, right? I mean, I don't think that's going to happen right now, but the funny thing is that, like, if that hybrid of a console is going to happen, like in 2 years, exclusive won't really matter anyway, because on that Xbox with Steam on it, you will be able to play Xbox games, Steam games, and PlayStation games that are on Steam, right? So problem solved for PlayStation, for Xbox and you know, exclusive problem. And on top of that, you know, Xbox gamers or, you know, Xbox next gen Xbox users will be able to play a lot of Steam games that are not on Xbox as well. I mean, people ask, yeah, but how will that make Microsoft's money? Well, you know, it will, because a lot of people will still use Game Pass. They, you know, while on Xbox, they will be advertising games for Xbox, games for, I mean, Xbox Game Pass and that kind of stuff. You know, number of people will probably subscribe to it, check it out and stuff. So this is how it works. But yeah, guys, you know, it's an interesting times, that's for sure. We are living in a very interesting times, and whether that is a right approach for Microsoft, I don't know. You know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's not really about consoles for Xbox per se. They don't focus on it's. I think they just want you to lock you down to their big ecosystem wherever you are, not necessarily on console, and that's the big thing for Xbox, right? So guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.